Hello, Green Spring. We're back in the studio, and now we have two more guests. We're still talking about volunteering at Green Spring and beyond, because this is National Volunteer Appreciation Month, and we certainly want to appreciate all the volunteers at Green Spring who do a lot of things throughout the year. As you heard from Uvonne, the volunteer coordinator, 65,000 hours last year or so.
Over.
And as I remember, it's probably more hours because hardly anybody writes down every single hour they did to help someone else or to do some volunteering. In any case, we have two special people here with us now for this last segment because they also are awardees of the Lifetime Service Award. Remember, that's at least 4,000 hours served. And to my left is Jennie Sparlin and Bill Chase next to her. And Uvonne is still here, moved over a little bit, but still here from before. Uvonne, Andoh, volunteer coordinator. So congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Jennie, tell us what you've been doing. How did you rack up 4,000 hours?
Well, my husband had died in April of 2010, and by May I was looking for something to do. I tried several things, but they weren't right. And I saw on the scroll, "Come sing with the choristers."
Ah.
And I thought, well, that should be fun, so I went. And the second time I went, they asked for a committee. Now, I know you're not supposed to join committees, but if you don't know anyone, you haven't found a best friend, a
Yes.
committee is one way to start.
Yes.
So what we were doing was taking the music out of the books so that new music could be put in.
Okay.
And we're taking the
When
music.
you say the books, you mean the
Music
the
books.
binders that
Yes,
the
the
choristers
choristers used. Yes.
for singing.
Yes.
From. Okay.
So as we took the music out, we were throwing it into a box. There were 6 of us, and we threw the music in and threw the music in, and I'm thinking, somebody has to sort that stuff. So I volunteered.
Aha.
And Betty Reynolds was the librarian at that time, and she said, there's no hurry because we won't use that music till next year. But I'm not going to have something to do sitting in my living room and not do
No,
it.
that's a real it's a trap, right? When
Yes.
somebody says it's not a hurry.
Right.
You shush it under the table and then it sits there forever and grows mold.
So I got it all sorted.
Uh-huh.
And I said, Betty, where does it go? And she says, it goes in the music room.
The music room, which is what?
Where? I'd never heard of the music room.
Yeah, me neither.
It's in Town Center.
Uh-huh.
And the choristers used to be there until the fire department said there were too many people and they had to be somewhere else. So now we're rehearsing in the chapel.
Yes. Well, that should be big enough.
It was big enough, yes. So bit by bit,
Yeah.
I did more and more.
Uh-huh.
And one day, about 4 months later, I met Betty Reynolds in the hallway, and she said, I'm going to give it all to you.
Yes, that's the reward you get when you do something well. Boop, have some more. Uh-huh.
So I didn't start out to do everything that I do. It's just one little thing, and
Yes.
can you do that? Yes. Can you do this? I only said no once when I was asked to be a secretary, and I said,
Well,
I've
it's good to
I've
know-
been there, and I'm not going to do that.
It's good to know what
So-
you like, and it's good to know your limitations.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next thing I got involved with was the History Forum.
History Forum.
I read a book called The Men Who United the States. It was a fabulous book about how different explorers and inventors united the states with railroads and telephone and all those things that we just take for granted. And I thought everybody should hear that.
Yeah.
So I gave a talk at the History Forum. Then I was asked to be on a committee.
Well, we know what's coming next,
Yes.
don't we?
Then they needed someone to make a flyer for the bulletin board, and I said I could do that. So then I began making flyers for bulletin boards for several different groups. So it's just built up over time.
Yeah, it mushrooms, right? It starts
Right,
somewhere.
yes.
And like you said, you
Right.
start somewhere where you know you like something, and before you know it, more and more grows
Right.
around it. That's a great story.
So I was
Tell us-
having lunch with my church group here,
Yeah.
and the minister was there, and somebody at the table said, Jennie, could you? And the minister said, Jennie, you can say no. I said, but I can do this one.
Oh, okay.
I can
And
do
then
this
you were
one.
asked to be on a committee.
Yes,
Yeah?
right.
I think that's how the story continues.
So then I saw on the scroll that Joe Lombard needed help with friends visiting friends
over
for
Garden
birthdays.
Ridge. Yes.
I said, well, I don't really want to do that, but I wonder if they'd like to have birthday cards. I could make birthday cards. So now
What
I
a
make birthday
nice
cards for
idea.
everyone at Garden Ridge.
Really? You
Yes,
make them?
I make them.
That is
Yes.
really sweet.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's fun.
Yeah.
See, I like to do that.
Tell us a little bit where you got all your, you came all highly decorated with all these.
That's how I got to 4,000.
Aha.
Was one by
Yes.
one by one.
Every year,
Now, the first
silver
2
or
years,
gold.
the first 2 years that I volunteered were not counted because they didn't consider the choristers as doing anything
Oh, I
specific.
remember that. Yes. Yeah.
So in 2012 is when these started. And so since my 4,000 hours have been built up
From
since
2012 to 18, 6
Yes.
years. Wow, that's quite something.
So I hope to
Yeah,
do it
steady,
again.
Steady. Yes, that's a great goal, Jennie.
It's been fun, and I like having something to do.
Well, why stop if it's
Yes,
fun,
right,
right?
yes, right,
Yeah.
yes.
And clearly it added to your life at a
It did.
time when you needed
Right.
something.
Yes, I did.
That is wonderful.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Bill. I've seen
Thank
you in the light and sound room in the theater and here in Channel 6. Tell
Yes.
us what you've been doing.
Well, I'm on the wrong side of the camera today. Usually
Yeah, I know, you
prefer-
look miserable. I'm
With
sorry.
3 people here, I prefer running camera 3.
Okay.
Because it can get busy depending on what you're doing.
Yes.
But I started working here, I think, in '07.
Okay.
And
So you worked with Jack Gotti? We mentioned Jack Gotti earlier.
No, was
He was
very ill at the
about done,
time.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But I was working with Jerry McDonald.
Yes. Yeah. I remember
who was
Jerry.
here. And in fact, because of him, I also operate the stuff in the theater.
Uh-huh.
And
What, can you talk a little about what this stuff is?
the light and sound equipment.
Yes.
Plus, how to handle things like replacing burnout bulbs on the stage
Oh.
lights.
Uh-huh.
Occasionally, a burnt fuse.
Uh-huh.
Last year, it's over a year now since we found a lot of problems with the lights,
Yes.
and I reported that, and
The
they're
whole
still gonna
system is going to be replaced, I
Yeah,
understand.
right.
Yes.
when I don't know.
No, nobody does, I think, at this point.
Yes, and
But so you've done some of the more unpleasant jobs.
oh yes,
That nobody else wants to do.
yeah,
I think you should get extra points for that.
When I signed up I joined the Players, and I wanted to do simple things that I knew I could do, like set construction,
Yes.
opening and closing the curtain at rehearsals and during the shows,
Yes.
that kind of stuff. But then one day I was asked to help Jerry,
Uh-huh.
and that was the end of everything else except lights and sound.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
So
normally I would be downstairs now with a rehearsal.
yeah.
But this year, I'm not going to be handling anything for the play, so I'm not worrying about the rehearsal. Just making sure that we have all of the equipment we need. Because on Friday, I got a emergency phone call of someone stole one of the
Microphone.
microphones.
Yeah.
Yes. Unfortunately, we've got some people who use that as a place to get replacement equipment, I think.
Really?
Yes.
I can understand, I've been part of the rehearsals because I'm the producer of the next play, so I see people having the mics clipped on.
Right.
And I can see how you would walk out of the theater afterwards, not thinking about it after 2 hours of
that's
rehearsal.
happened.
Da-da-da-da-da. But why would you keep it once you get home and you're like, oh, I still have this on me?
Well,
What do you
that
do with
piece
a
that- the piece
microphone
that
in your
says-
house?
The piece that clips on stayed there. I found last year one day I went in, I was just checking things out,
Yeah.
and I saw 2 of them lying there without any microphone attached to them.
Huh.
So they were just taking this part.
Yeah, but why? What for? Do you know?
I'd like to catch one of these persons who does it
Oh.
and find out why.
Yeah, I'd like to know that too. That sounds really interesting.
That's why I say
I may
it's-
want one.
I don't think this was someone just walking off with it. It looks like
Oh,
too
really?
much like
Intentional?
Intentional.
Oh, that is really sad.
Yes.
But back to the more positive side of
Yes.
life. So with all this, what you've been doing since 2007, you say, that's a
Yes.
good 10 years, 11 years. So you rack up over probably quite a bit more than 4,000
Yeah,
years.
so something over 4,000, but I never
Yeah.
bothered to add it
Yeah.
up.
Well, and once you get to 4,000, you can stop counting because
Yes,
you get your lifetime award. This is wonderful. Thank you so much, both of you. I have another question for you, Jennie. I remember when I first met you, you were crocheting maybe or knitting, I don't know, these little finger puppets.
Yes, I still
and
do.
had them in a bag together with the story that they went with.
Yes, yes.
Didn't you donate that also, or did that for
Yes,
a
I
good
used to do
cause?
that before I moved here
Yeah.
to Fairfax County's Nurturing Parenting Program.
Uh-huh.
I got involved with a woman who was in charge of that, and she would email me a list of children. What I needed was their first name and their ages, and whether they were a boy or girl, because sometimes girls' and boys' names are very similar.
That's true, yeah.
So that I could pick out the appropriate book for each child.
Uh-huh.
And so I did like 6 classes at a time of books, with 10 or 12 children.
Yeah.
I gave each child a book. Even some for
How?
unborn children
Oh, my
in the
goodness.
family. Everybody in the family got one.
Oh, okay. 5.5.
Yes.
That's a great thing to do too. Do you still knit?
I still did.
Okay, but not as a volunteer.
Not as
That's
a
for you,
volunteer.
Not like Claire Manger
Well,
told
see,
us.
I came here with a shop full of yarn.
Yes, and
And when I was
all
going
used
to knit with the group, they wanted me to use their yarn.
oh,
Well, if I use their yarn, I'm not getting rid of my yarn.
oh, okay. Well,
so-
too many internal details.
So I participate in the bazaar in December.
Yes,
And
uh-huh.
also the art fair.
Yes.
I'm allowed to sell some things at the art fair.
Oh, okay. That's
So-
just you as Jennie
As-
Sparlin.
yes, right.
Not as a
Yes,
volunteer.
right, yes.
Okay. Have you done any outside volunteering,
Not since
Bill?
I've been
Before
here.
you? No, but before you came here.
I think I did.
Yeah.
But I don't
So-
remember anything specific.
Well, you've been here a long time now.
Yes.
Yeah. The rest kind of fades in the background, right?
Uh-huh.
My impression is that oftentimes that people who volunteer have that in them before they come to Green Spring, and so they come already with some kind of history of volunteering. What do you think,
Yes.
Uvonne?
I think you're right as well. And what I've also realized is a lot of people who maybe volunteered or whatever their work was outside of prior to coming to Green Spring, they try to find areas to volunteer that are associated with maybe their past career or what they used to do in the past. For example, let's say if you're involved in IT, when you
Yeah.
come to Green Spring, you want to do something that involves maybe IT as well. And I've seen that trend, but of course it's not with everybody, but that's something that I've actually noticed as well, that people want to continue to do what they did in their past, whether it's through volunteering or, prior to their move to Green Spring.
Probably because there's hopefully some things in their life that they really enjoy and that they
Absolutely.
were good at.
Absolutely.
So you also, I would think, as a volunteer, are looking to do something where you find satisfaction that you do it well.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is
like
right.
like you have exemplified here.
Yes.
So, as we're coming to the end of this segment, do you have any words of wisdom
Um,
for our
So,
audience?
Yeah, well, this is for anybody who is looking to volunteer. If maybe you just moved into Green Spring and you're still wondering, what can I do? What are other volunteer opportunities here? I don't want to stay in my room. There's always stuff to do here at Green Spring.
Yes.
If you are trying to figure out what can I do to volunteer, always reach out to me as a volunteer coordinator. So you can either call me. So my internal number will be 604-3154. You can stop by my office, which is in Garden Ridge, 2nd floor, and we can talk about the different volunteer opportunities that you can get involved in. But always there's something to do. So don't feel
Yes.
like you have to be in your apartment, that there's nothing for me to do. There's always something to do. So always
And
be
if
out
you-
there.
If you don't remember this, when you're ready to go volunteer, just go to your front desk and ask for
Yes.
Uvonne, and they will connect you with that.
Yes.
Again, to you, both of you, and the other recipients of the Lifetime Award, congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for all your work, and keep going. And to all of you, hopefully you found this interesting and inspiring. And if you want to start some new volunteering and add that to your life, see Uvonne Andoh, our volunteer coordinator, either at Garden Ridge 2nd floor, or go to the front desk and ask them to connect you to her.